Look at this place. I bet it's packed with traps. We better be extra careful in here, Doctor.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass. Last time we explored the extent of the Isle of Ruins and finally came here to Mutoh's temple, the greatest of the temples on the island, where we are going to try and find ourselves some Aquanine today. Bombs buy time. Thanks for that. He who chooses the hidden path over the long road will cross in time. So there's various little hints and riddles going on here. I'm going to take various things here. Hopefully get a few more bombs, because bombs buy time, as we've just been told. If I hit this switch on the left, on the right even, it opens up a bridge. Note, there are two ways for us to get here. It talks about the shorter road and the long road. The shorter road goes this way, and the longer road goes all the way around that way, and it's far more annoying. We want to take the shorter road, but the shorter road is currently blocked, so we are going to go through there and just open it up. As you can tell, we don't have a lot of time there. Going around the long way is very difficult. Wonderful, and as it said, bombs buy time. We'll leave a bomb there next to the switch, because then it means we can be definitely ready, because trolls, stuff like that will happen. So, through here we go, and we have got across. There is obviously the slower way of doing it, which involves going around this way. Whereas this door needed a switch to go down it. While there is a door blocking the other one, it's one of these doors that you can just go on, which are weird that they even exist, but there we go. Anyway, with that done, we head up to the top here. Ooh. And we first have to fight some Stalfos. Oh, Christ. I responded by just leaping off the edge and into a pit. But very handy with upgraded Neri that we can just bonk into them once in order to kill them. Well, in order to render them very much killable. And with that done, we hit the switch and we light a torch. You'll see there's more on the other side. So we have to go back and do the other side. Let's head back to the entrance. So as you can imagine, the left switch does something pretty similar. If we hit it, it opens up a bridge there. Here, there is no fast way or slow way. You just have to get over there in one. This one is also more annoying, because if you look at the map, you'll see there's two levels of moving platforms. The trick is to synchronize this one looking at the further moving platform, not the closer one. So I actually want to do it around here-ish. As it says, bombs buy time. I was going to say there's tons of time to cross this, but I think I fucked this up, so I'm going to try again. So you want to throw it basically when the platform up there looks like it is about in the right position. Cross over here, and then it should circle back. It should circle back to be in the right position there. It's actually slightly early, which was handy because I then fell down that hole. And there we go. We had not a huge amount of time there, I'll be honest. So here we have some more Stalfos to bonk and kill. Bonk and kill. Wonderful. And with them dead, you can see exactly how this is going. That drops down, a bridge extends over here, and we can go over, hit that switch, and light up a second torch. And with both torches lit, the way through opens. Brilliant. Let's head downstairs. As you can see, this thing is shaped like a pyramid. It is literally, we are inside Mutoh's pyramid here. As we go downstairs, you'll notice downstairs is gigantic. There's also this new fighty Stalfos there, which we fortunately killed before it became a problem. But yeah, this is, frankly, a huge area. And later on in the episode, we will be spending rather a lot of time in this room. I would go as far as to say this is the primary room of the entire dungeon. Because obviously as you go further up the temple, because it's a pyramid, it gets narrower. So the actual options open to you are less. Here's weird little shells. We'll deal with them later. Head further up, and you'll notice if you look at the map, yeah, the area is getting smaller because we are actually going more and more up towards the nubbin of the pyramid, to use the technical term. Here's another one of those rupee-like mazes that unfortunately are one of the major issues of this part of the game, is they're very annoying. Just because likes are just really irritating to fight. I genuinely don't know if they're glitched or if I'm just really bad at doing the Dark Pearl loop. That contains a fair bit of cash. Is worth a fair bit of cash is what I meant to say. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just genuinely bad at doing the thing with bombs there, but fuck, I'm just going to ignore that guy entirely. Notice as well these switches here. Well, Sealer's about to point them out. There's one of these things earlier. I wonder what it is. I think I saw one in the Temple of the Ocean King too. Looks like a switch, but it's rusty and probably won't budge if you stand on it. We did see one in the Temple of the Ocean King, and we will get to what they are rather shortly. Rather soon, I suppose, not rather shortly. If you remember your Ocarina of Time, you'll know exactly what it's going to be anyway, but, well, we're about to find out because it's in this very chest. I'm so excited I punched the microphone. You got a hammer! It's small, but it packs a punch. Tap something to hit it. Tap and hold to build up huge hammering power. Yeah, this is a weird one. I like it, but it's just like, hammer, hammer. You can just hammer really far away from you. The hammer is absolutely a ranged weapon in this. And as they say, if you hold it, you do more hammering power, a feature which is absolutely never used in the game ever. But a regular hammer hit to one of these switches will lower them successfully. Likewise, you have these little things. If we read this thing, touch the footprint, slam the pillar. Yeah, these are with little kind of catapults which launch you and other objects, and we'll get to what those other objects are fairly soon, higher up. These are, of course, little kind of Cooper-y style things, therefore if you flip them onto their back, they can be killed rather readily, and we can get back to where we wanted to be. Yet more of them here, and another. So you notice there, by the way, you do have to have line of sight to use the hammer. It is a bit weird that it kind of seems to be ranged, but you can't just hit anywhere on the map. You have to be able to see it. It's kind of almost like Link's just got really long arms, I guess. Anyway, with that, let's head back down to the giant floor. And now here we have some boulders to kind of shove around. Specifically, we crack this boulder into another one. Come on. Weirdly, hammers feel like it should be able to break boulders, but can't. And we'll go across this spiky lad up to here. Can't go through there yet, but we can just proceed over here. Stalfos, by the way, are much easier to fight with a hammer. As in, a single blow with a hammer will kill any kind of Stalfos in a single hit. So, I guess maybe in some ways it wasn't actually worth me charging up Neri. But there we go. You know what? What matters is we've already done it, so sunk cost at this point. Now into the proper depths of the temple. If we hit both of these, we set that moving, and we have a little daft thing here. Go on. Here what you have to do is on both sides of the room, hit these switches, and then also hit the Stalfosses. The Stalfosses will throw things at you, which can be mildly annoying. But here, yeah, you just take advantage of the weirdly ranged capabilities of the hammer. And when you hit all of them, then this little spiky lad will move out of the way. If not, then it's still very much here when you get here and you can't get through. Make sure you pop down here for a courage gem. Our 20th courage gem. I'm not going to leave mid-dungeon to go and upgrade Sealer, but I will be doing it soon once we are out of here. This also is just cash, I think. Oh, small key. That's much better than cash. Legit. Let's head up to the giant room. As I say, this is where most of the temple kind of generally occurs. So if we hit this switch, then this unlocks. Is that a back cut? That is a back cut to where we already were. But, of course, we can now proceed up here and open this key door that we couldn't before, which has a spooky floating pyramid behind it. And if we hit the spooky floating pyramid, we drain all the water in the room. Yes, it's like Crasher Wake's gym from Diamond and Pearl. And I think actually came out at a pretty similar time. That was clearly just an idea that Nintendo had at that time. The path will open when mighty attacks change the color of tiles. That was easy. It's the introduction to that puzzle. Basically, yeah, these things can be flipped by hammering near them. It's like that really obnoxious puzzle in Casino Delfino in Super Mario Sunshine. But if we head up here, then we have a wood heart. But more importantly, what we have is... Wait, have I bamboozled myself? I have absolutely bamboozled myself. The wood heart was not necessary at this stage. We actually just wanted to head... Wait, what? Maybe it was necessary. Oh, there's a pyramid right there. I was trying to... My notes told me to shoot for that pyramid, and I was aiming for the previous pyramid that we hit on the way up, which obviously wasn't an option to hit. But that one was. And with that raise, we can now go across this spiky lad and go down to where we need to. Once again here, we now have to flip all of these to be the right shape, and it's a little more awkward. What you have to remember is that the hammer works in a 9 by 9. Unfortunately, these things are always on a very clear grid. So the trick is that to flip any given corner, you just have to hit like diagonally right away from the corner. It's got a kind of Minesweeper vibes to it. But when you flip them all, fun fact, doesn't matter what you flip them to. Just flip them all to the same shit, and then you will be able to proceed. We opened up a door there, which means we can now shoot from here through and hit that pyramid again. And crucially, that opens the way down here. There's a big old room here, this one. We can't really do much else down here right now, so what we need to do is just head into the subfloor here. So here, we have got this thing here. So let's flip this complex nonsense. So, want to do... Oh, shit. I'll fuck that up anyway. I guess we're doing X's. So we do that one. For those, we need to do that. Then flip the diagonal. Then there, and do the diagonal again. Oh, fuck's sake, that one in the middle's gonna be annoying. Right, we need to hit there, let's try. And then there. How to do the middle. There we go. That'll do it, and then we do the diagonal there. Corner there, and then that diagonal, then hit there. Shit, hit there again. Right, do that a little more carefully. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you just have to think quite a lot with them there. Right, let's head and back upstairs. Now here we are on the other side of where we just were, so here we have to do an interesting little thing. If we look at this one above us here, we can't actually hit it with the hammer in any way because it's above us, we haven't got a line of sight to it. If we look at the tablet in front of us, it says, open the path, the true form lies here. To the point where we actually do want to write it down. I'm just going to write it down over here, because fucking why not? And it's basically 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. They're not zeros, they're O's. X. Oh, I can't. Let's make this bigger so I can actually see what I'm bloody doing. So, X, O, 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 X, X, O, X. Hideous, but works. With that, we can boinger ourselves up a couple of times here using these boingers. And then if it gives you a wood heart, it's usually telling you you need to have arrows. So... Oh, shit. We need to spin that lad first with the boomerang, then we hit it with arrows. Whoops, there we go. Now, with the water level raised, this is an interesting one here. This isn't the strongest dungeon, but it does have some fun kind of puzzles, I suppose. We need to make this thing. If we look at the tablet, it says, red and blue, when they are aligned to their true form, the path will open. But with the water raised, we can't see what the true form is. Actually, I think there's nothing to stop us just lowering the water. But, fuck it, it's more fun to do it from drawing on the map, innit? Right, so we need to flip that to an X, and then these two both to O. Ooh, that was not the angle I meant to hit. These two... No, oh, bloody line of sight stuff in it. Well, I'll sort this out. There we go. And that opens another door at the bottom there, which we can now hop down and head through. Okay, I clearly have to lower the water again for that in order to work. For that in order to work. In order for that to work. There we go. Also, these things doesn't look like you should be able to, but you can actually just walk across them when they're on the ground. I always thought for ages they'd be some kind of, like, obstacle, but they're very much not. Now I can just hammer my way up there. Spoyoyoy. Spoyoyoing. The wise among you may recognize those in the Temple of the Ocean King as well. They're one of very few things that we can actually still get in the Temple of the Ocean King, is there's some hammer stuff to get. So let's shove these out the way. Actually, we can do something fun here. If we load this onto the catapults, catapults don't just catapult me, they can catapult objects as well. When I say objects, I mean literally only boulders are the only other thing in the game that ever comes into play with. But if we hop down here, we can get, is this cash or is this a gem? It's a small key, which is also important. I think the last few dungeons haven't had a great number of keys, which is why I seem to be surprised every time I kind of come across them. Anyway, if we come up here... No, that's... Oh yeah, no, we can do this, excellent. And not only can we do this, but we do want to do it, because that's what this small key is for here. If we come through here, we just need to quickly grab the boss key. Let's boing that up here, and we just have to basically follow this thing up and boing it a couple of times. by getting it into... in order to get it into the right position. Unfortunately, I feel like this was not as interesting as a puzzle element as it could have been, because it's very linear, unfortunately, and this entire dungeon is kind of linear, and you know what? I will go as far as to say that's kind of a bit of a concern with this game's dungeons as a whole. It's basically just a case of, like, Amblosky, it is just kind of a case of find the one thing you can do it, and then you just kind of proceed along. And I know all Zelda dungeons basically follow that formula, but it feels more like that in these ones. I think if only because this game, as people have kind of pointed out in the comments, and as I said a couple of times, is slightly lacking a bit of a vibe in a lot of ways that make it feel interesting. That actually a lot of the... oh, shit nuts. A lot of the time... Someone basically said, and I think it was a really astute comment, someone said, a lot of the time the dungeons in this game just feel like a load of tiles stuck together, and I can see that. They don't really, like, there's no reason why, if you hadn't used a slightly different palette, this couldn't have been the Goron Temple or the Temple of Ice or something like that. I think it's partly because, you know, they do have the same music and things like that, and the same kind of puzzles. They don't feel that kind of unique. I will say that. I've complained the entire time about the fact that nothing really happens with the key. That is the most in the game. Ooh, that was a hiccup and a burp. That's the most in the game we've ever actually had to do work-wise for getting the big key to where it needs to be. Anyway, here we can transport ourselves to the top of this kind of sub-pyramid and head down. Because, of course, we are now approaching the boss. It's a very short temple, Mutoh's temple, as well. You'll have noticed. We're like, what, 15 minutes in? And we've already basically got to the end of it. Like, to do the Ice Temple and Gleok in one session, episode, that's the word, took like 30 minutes. This one won't even take 20. I mean, I've stopped to talk there. And maybe it will. It's an interesting boss. I think one of the other reasons I don't particularly like Mutoh's Temple is it's not a strong boss. It's still good, don't get me wrong, and I'm going to flip the screens for it because, like all of the bosses in this game, at least it does absolutely use the DS's hardware to its full capacity, but it's not the most interesting one. There are far more interesting ones earlier in the game, really. Oh, my glasses are at the wrong angle. Because I'm looking down at my lap. I had to, like, rest the glasses on the bridge of my nose like a fucking old bastard. Anyway. Eox, Ancient Stone Soldier. So this is a weird boss. You flip... oh, it's that sound effect. That firebolt that's in fucking everything. As you can see, what you have to do is launch yourself into the air using the catapult, and then while you are in midair, whack away with the hammer. I think one of the reasons this boss never sits great with me is because I don't like the whole thing that the hammer has, like, unlimited range. It is just weird that you fly up into the air, and then you're just somehow hitting his arm over there. Oh, and it's that sound effect. God, it's a stock... I think of it as being the fire blaster from what's it called? Star Fox Adventures. But it is in a shit ton of stuff. If you get around the back of him, he'll be like, oh, where did he go? Which allows us a bit of a chance to hit his butt and the back of his various arms as well. After a while, he will figure shit out, but yeah, you can't actually hit him from that side. It's also quite easy to nutmeg him, and then he'll go straight into the where did he go? Which we'll get you a moment here. The one in his back of his head is probably the hardest one to hit, because you get so little of a window to do it. And unfortunately now we are at the weaker part of Eox, where it's just repeating this not super exciting cycle a couple of times, because now we just have to again nutmeg him, and then he goes, oh, where he go? And then we launch ourselves into the air, and you can see how this plays out. We got that one, so it's actually relatively easy now to get the back of his hands, but once again, the back of his arms, like his forearms, we need to get by being on the back of him. It also annoys me that he's called Ancient Stone Soldier when he's clearly made of wood underneath. Either way, one more to go. Whoop. And of course, the use of stock sound effects always hurts me. I think Goma in the original Wind Waker used that same sound effect as well when it attacked you with like a big laser thing. Anyway, now you'll notice it's got some bolts on the front of it. What we need to do is hit all of those bolts, and if we hit them, we'll turn them blue. And we need to make sure they're all turned blue at the same time. You can do it in literally one shot. If you don't do it in one, then... oh, yeah, we flipped now. That's weird. You know what? I'm actually going to rotate my screens back because it doesn't really need it from now on, and frankly, it's a more awkward position to be able to look at and actually talk into my microphone properly. But yeah, the second phase where you've got to hit the lights in time seems mildly interesting until you realise that you just do it in one cycle every time. Here, we just need to launch ourselves up and whack him on the brain a couple of times, it'll shake us off. Eox isn't a bad boss in any way, it's just not very interesting, and I think it's potentially a victim of its own success in that the game has, up until that point, had such a good record with bosses. I would say almost every boss in this game, I think with the exception of Eox, is really fucking good. And as such, Eox is just a bit weaker. And there we go, we got a little bit more sand, and then we are finally up to the maximum of 25 minutes. It wants me to be in double, like, vertical mode again here, but I'm not going for that. Yeah, I'd say overall, Eox, like, so... The Isle of the Dead and Isle of Ruins are really good, there's some really strong puzzle-based gameplay, but Mutoh's Temple itself is fine, and Eox as a final boss is fine. As a final boss of the temple. We still, don't worry, we got final boss of the game still to come. So yeah, not the weakest, but not the strongest. And I think Eox only suffers by virtue of the fact that all of the other bosses in the game are genuinely so strong that actually he seems a bit weaker. When he's perfectly fine. He's just not quite of the same caliber. Anyway, up here is what we're after.
Ah, so you are the one who restored silence to our temple. My name is Mutoh. I am the king of the great Cobble Kingdom. Only the true hero would have with him the three spirits of the Ocean King, not to mention the ability to defeat that foul beast. I know what you seek. So you say the Ocean King is in dire trouble? I can't help my current state. Your presence gives me great confidence. I will give you our sacred treasure, the Aquanine. Please, take it with you. I will now return to my blissful slumber. We are all counting on you to help the Ocean King.
Ow. Punch my microphone once again. I have to have... It was an interesting setup. There's the Aquanine. It's the one metal you need to make the Sacred Sword. As I say, you can do all three of these in any order, which is mildly interesting.
You got the pure metal from this island. Come on, let's hurry back.
Yeah, because obviously normally I'm holding a controller and looking at a screen. It's much more easy to look straight forward and look into a camera and whatnot. Where not into a camera, but into a microphone. But if I show you actually my setup here... Ooh, you'll see from that image, it's kind of awkward because my notes are up on the screen. They're the notes I've made. Then my microphone has to be like somewhere where if I look, like at the moment I'm looking down at the gamepad, then up there. The gamepad, as you'll probably see, is on this fucking janky little stand I've made for it out of an existing stand for it, and also some blue tack and a piece of MDF that I had lying around, which just holds it in a more comfortable position for you to use. But it's an unusual setup. Which means the microphone's in a very odd place, so that's why I'm kind of hitting it and spitting it and hitting it more than I usually do, because it's not where I'm expecting it to be. Oh, you'll also spoilers for next episode, by the way, because I realised I'd scrolled down from my... Because I'm planning on recording all of this tonight. I'd already scrolled down to my notes from next episode, so... Well, don't look at that next episode if you're not interested in seeing, what goes into the sausage. But on that note, I think we will hold it there. Thank you very much for watching. Next episode, we're going to be forging ourselves a phantom sword and cleaning up all of the side content in the game, including ship parts. It should be a normal length episode for you next episode, but I think it's going to be a long night for me. Hope you'll join me then. Thank you very much, and good day.